included in the syllabus. So this, whatever the basics we are discussing now, even those basics are in the syllabus also. Don't think that they're just the basics that you should know. These are all there in the syllabus also. They are the topics in the syllabus also. So let us start the concepts of op amp with negative feedback. Okay. In the concepts of op amp with negative feedback, this comes under module 4, because module 4 and 5 are mainly on op amps, completely on the op amps. The entire concepts will be on op amps and 555 timer IC, astable, monostable, multi vibrators, all those things. But in order to understand the op amp, you should know the basic working of a transistor or basic working of an amplifier. So if you understand that, then you can understand the op amps, and also to understand the application and design of the op amp circuits, you need to know the basic working principle of the op amp and why we need a feedback and how that feedback is designed. All those things is needed. So let us start with the block diagram only. So the block diagram of the op amp. See this, the op amp has the input stage, intermediate stage, buffered level shifting stage, and the other one is, the last part is output stage. See here the arrow marks what we are using. Somewhere we are using 2, somewhere we are using 1. It has its own meaning. We are not simply writing it V1 of t and this is V2 of t. So basically, operational amplifier in the name, in short, we call it as op amp. Operational. Operational indicates the different mathematical operations which we are having. It might be addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, even the integration, differentiation, all those things. The mathematical operations are can be done. Along with that, amplifier. That means it is a device which is going to increase the strength of the given input signal. Operational amplifier. That means this operational amplifier or the op amp is the device which is going to increase the strength of the signal along with doing some mathematical operation. Just for example, let us consider there are some musicians and there is a singer. So each musician will be given with a mic to capture the sound of that particular instrument they are playing. Some might be playing the guitar, some might be playing a flute, some might be on the drums, some might be on the keyboard, like that. Each of them are having individual mics. Okay, so each of them are having individual mics, so it is producing some sound, and we have a singer, so who is going to sing. So all this together has to be combined, and then only we'll be getting a song. right? So we'll be hearing to all the music as well as the lyrics which is sung by the singer altogether is coming out as a single sound. There, in this kind of application, what is happening is each individual signals are getting added up and then they are getting amplified and it is going to be given as a complete song. So that song is one output. So these are all individual inputs. All of them are added, amplified, and given as one output. That output we call it as song. So this is the basic application to understand the operational amplifier. So this kind of applications we can do here, and also in the medical applications where we want to convert our body signal into an understandable format. So whatever we look in on the display in the medical instruments or the devices, that wave is not actually the wave which is exactly produced. So some kind of different wave or current is passing through our body, so that is being captured and that is being converted into a readable format. So to convert the body signals to a readable format, we are going to use this kind of op amps. So they are going to integrate or differentiate the given input signal and they are going to display it, and from that we'll be getting some spikes and all. From that the doctor is going to analyze, so what is the status of the patient, maybe on the heartbeat, all those things. Now in this, coming back to this, here in the input stage we are having two inputs. We call an op amp which is having two inputs. That means obviously every op amp will have two inputs, but if both the inputs are active, that means both inputs are given at a time, such a type of op amp is known as differential op amp. Such a type of op amp is known as differential op amp. So here the differential op amp is going to take the difference of the two signal, and after that it is going to amplify that signal and it is going to give it to the next stage. It is going to give it to the next stage. Since the single stage is not sufficient, is not capable of producing the sufficient gain. So that's why what happens is we'll be using one more stage of amplifier, which is going to add the additional required gain, because each we might be having some high requirement. During that time, a single amplifier cannot produce sufficient gain. So we'll add one more amplifier or we'll just cascade it and it is going to give the additional gain. So here, coming back to this arrow marks, whatever we are giving. So these are input and this is the output of this stage. Wherever you are having two input lines and two output lines, we call it as dual input balanced output stage. So dual input balanced output stage. So we have two inputs and balanced output stage. That means two outputs we are having. Next, intermediate stage, we are having two inputs. That means dual input, and we are having only one output. So one output indicates it is unbalanced output. Whenever you are having only one output line, that indicates it's unbalanced output. So we call this is in dual input unbalanced output stage. Next, in buffer level shifting stage, you can see that it is having a single input line and double output line. We call this as single input balanced output. In the output stage, you can see that it's dual input unbalanced, again, since it is having unbalanced output. Okay, just a minute. Okay, see here, coming back to, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So you're at the third stage.
Okay, I was at this stage. So buffer level shifting. See, buffer means it's a temporary storage. Buffer indicates it's a temporary storage. Level shifting. We have already studied clampers, right? In clampers, who is going to shift the signal? What makes the AC signal to shift to the positive phase or negative phase? Hmm? Anybody? Okay, at least clamper basic, the clamper definition, that itself will tell you regarding this.
So it just shifts the value the
Yes,
to
shifting
positive
is,
side or negative side.
yes, shifting is fine. To shift that, it uses something. See, the basic definition of clamper is addition of DC signal to AC input. Because whenever you are going to add a DC signal to the AC input, during that time, the signal is going to be shifted either positive phase or to the negative phase. So that's why we use a capacitor in the clamper, where the capacitor is going to charge to its peak value, and you know that capacitor is going to charge by using DC only, DC signal only. And also the charge stored in the capacitor, when it starts discharging also, it is going to give DC signal. The capacitor will not give AC signal. So the charge which is stored in the capacitor, when it is getting discharged, it is going to give a DC signal only. So that's why in this process, that's why what I was about to tell is level shifting means DC level shifting. In this process, what has happened is, as you know, in amplifiers, we will be using plus VCC. So plus VCC is a DC signal. And here we have given an AC signal. The amplifier is used DC signal to shift the operating points, maybe to the cutoff, saturation, or active region. Obviously, for amplifier, it has to be in active region. So to shift that, it has used DC signal and it has kept the operating point in the active region. And the signal is amplified and it has come to this level. But here what has happened is, because of usage of DC, some amount of DC has now got added up to AC. Whenever we add AC signal, it has to give out AC signal only. You should not give a mixed signal or DC plus AC. So buffer level shifting stage is a stage where the DC level is made to 0 or the reference level is shifted to 0. And in order to shift that, it needs some time. So that's why it is going to hold that incoming signal. The signal will be continuously coming. That signal will be held up for some time, very short duration. And during that time, it is going to shift that DC level to 0 so that the AC signal will be allowed. So this AC signal will be passed on to output stage. So now when it comes to the output stage, in the output stage, again, we'll be having push-pull, power, amplifier, kind of amplifier. So it will, the amplifier stage, which we are going to use in output stage will be like a push-pull amplifier only, where it doesn't mean that it is going to it is going to use a heat sink. It is going to just work like push-pull power amplifier. We tell the output stage is going to use a push-pull amplifier where the signal which is coming here will be stretched to its either end so that we'll be getting an amplified version at the output. So this is the block diagram representation, and if they ask you explain the conceptual diagram of op-amp, you need to explain. So the important points here is it is an high gain direct coupled differential amplifier, differential amplifier, where the given two input signals are going to be subtracted or subtracted and amplified, and it is passed on to the next stage. This input stage is dual input balance output kind of amplifier. Since a single amplifier cannot produce the additional requirement, additional gain which is necessary, so an intermediate stage is used to add on the extra gain required. Again, this output is fed to the buffer level shifting stage where it is going to shift the DC level to 0 and it is going to give it to the output stage. In the output stage, a push-pull amplifier will be used, and which is going to shift the signal to its extreme ends such that we will be getting an amplified version. So this is how the basic the op-amp works. Coming to the symbol for op-amp, we have the symbol plus VCC and this is minus VE, and as you know that this is actually the positive saturation, this is the negative saturation. We are having two terminals, inverting, non-inverting terminals. If you give input to the inverting terminal and if you make the positive terminal ground, so it is inverting op-amp. If you are going to ground the negative and you are going to give the input to the positive terminal or non-inverting terminal, it is non-inverting op-amp. And plus VCC minus VE, these are all the DC supplies which we are going to use, and this is not only activating the transistor which is present inside the op-amp, but also these are the deciders of the output maximum level of the output. These are the deciders of the maximum level of the output. If you fix up 10 volt here, minus 10 here, then your maximum output can be within the range of 10 to minus 10. That is totally your AC signal can be maximum 20 volt. If your output signal is trying to cross this level, then after that it starts clipping the level. Suppose you are giving more and more input here and you might expect more output, because you are giving, as input is high, output should also be high. But since you are using plus VCC as 10 and minus VE as minus 10, so output can be maximum, it can be maximum of 10 or minus 10. If it tries to increase behind this, it will start clipping. This is known as the saturable property of op amp. This is the saturable property of the op amp. Okay. So after this, the ideally inside this op amp, if you take a differential op amp where minus plus and this is V1, V2. This is a differential op amp. This one we call it as non-inverting op amp because input was given to non-inverting and negative was grounded. But when it comes to this case, both the terminals are given with the input. So that's why here we are having the both the inputs will be given at a time. That's why we call it as differential op amp. It is known as the differential op amp. What does this op amp contains basically, or differential op amp contains basically? It contains usual amplifier, transistor based amplifier circuit. So we'll just try to know what it has inside. Here, whatever I'm drawing, this is with respect to the differential op amp. So this is plus VCC, this is V1, this is V2, and here we take the output. This is minus, this is plus. Between these two, we are going to take the output. So this is the circuit of a differential op amp. Whatever the IC you'll be having, it will be having many amplifier circuits in it. So based upon our requirement, we are going to use it. A basic MUA 741 op amp, which we are going to use in the lab, even in your AC lab, we are using MUA 741 IC for many of the experiments. There, it has this circuit inside the integrated circuit. So the inputs V1, V2, this indicates the inputs. So V2 is the positive and V1 is the negative. And the output, whatever you are having now, this output is this one, which is taken across the two collectors. Between the two collectors, we are taking the output. When you take the output between these two collectors, it is going to give the difference between the output of these two. That's why I was telling in differential op amp, it is not only taking the difference of the input signal, it is also amplifying. So these transistors are used to amplify the signal. Both are amplifying the signal, then they are going to give out. Since we are taking between these two terminals, it is going to be the potential difference between these two terminals. As you know, potential difference is the difference between the two extreme ends. So output will be the difference of both of them. Okay, and this plus VCC is this one and minus VE is this one. Okay, this is how the internal structure of the op amp will be. Coming to the different types of differential op amps. So I was telling dual input, balanced output, single input, balanced output, all those four varieties. Let me list out: dual input, balanced output type differential amplifier, single input balanced output, dual input, unbalanced output, single input, single input, unbalanced output. So these are the four types of differential op amps we are having. I was telling dual input balanced output means it will be having two inputs and two outputs. This is whatever I have drawn. No? This is the dual input balanced output differential op amp, differential amplifier. If I am going to take single input balanced output, during that time, what happens is one of the input will be grounded. One of the input will be grounded, but still the output will be taken across the two collectors. V1 is grounded and we are giving the input only to V2, but the output is taken between the two collector terminals. Such type of connection or such type of configuration of differential op amp is known as single input balanced output. See, we have a single input, balanced output. Balanced means two outputs. So where we are going to take the difference between those two outputs and we get the op amp's single output. Dual input unbalanced output. Dual input means both the signals are given, but we are going to take the output across only one transistor. Dual input unbalanced output means signals are given to both the transistors or both the terminals, but we take the output across one transistor. That is dual input unbalanced output. Next is single input unbalanced output. Single input means we give input to a single transistor as well as we take the output across single transistor only. Such a type of configuration of differential op amp is known as single input unbalanced output. Okay, this was once asked in the examination. Even in the you have not written basic electronics, but these are all things which you have in basic electronics, and also in exam also this was asked once. Okay, so after this we need to study the parameters of the op amp. The questions based on parameters will be like this. They'll ask you define the loop gain, define bandwidth, define skew rate. All these things will be asked. There are around 7 to 8 parameter: input bias current and voltage gain, input impedance, output impedance, all those things. So all those parameters you need to define if they are going to ask, or they sometimes they'll be asking specifically define the following A, B, C, D, like that. They'll be asking some parameter and you need to explain that. In these parameters, we need to remember two types of values. One is ideal values and other one is practical values. Just an example, if you are asked with input impedance, so input impedance, usually you know that for any amplifier circuit, input impedance should be maximum. Ideal value is infinity, but practical value will be few mega ohms, practical value. So you need to remember that. And output resistance, ideally we tell it is 0, but practically it will be few ohms. Like this, you need to remember the values. for the power supply rejection ratio and CMRR, all those things. So that we can discuss in the afternoon class, because whatever the things in the parameters we are having, everything is there in the syllabus. Question on this parameter will come.